Hi everyone, today I want to talk about home renovations, particularly deciding if we should be helping our contractor complete our project. As homeowners, outsourcing a project is very stressful, and it's not unlikely for one of us to want to insert ourselves to make sure that it stays on time and on budget. So I spoke with John Marchese of Kitchens by Lomco in Tewksbury to go over this and see how a homeowner can actually be helpful in completing their home renovation. When you discuss your project with the various contractors, make sure you're saying the same thing to each one of them. They all want to come across as competitive as possible, so explaining must-haves and then would-be nice features for a bathroom or kitchen or whatever your renovation may come back to you in a quote differently from various contractors. So you want to make sure that you understand exactly what you want. Otherwise, one contractor may just be quoting you the must-haves and then saying, we'll leave the would-be nice things for as we go. Whereas another contractor might be spelling that all out in his quote, which makes it look more expensive, but really it's just including a lot more work. John also recommends gathering as many ideas and photos ahead of the project to discuss to ensure that the quote is accurate. So for instance, if you have a really intricate floor design in mind with various materials or a specific design, that's a lot more expensive than a basic tile grid pattern. If you don't spell that out initially, they're going to quote it as the most basic way to look good. So you want to make sure that you're showing them the exact type of style you want and the exact materials you want, or at least a good idea of the materials you want, so that quote can be accurate. It's also smart to just ask as many questions as you have up front. Don't be afraid of being annoying. It's just good business practice. Assuming what may save you money could actually end up being wrong and costing you quite a bit. So I made a similar mistake here. In my case, I thought large format tile would be a big time saver instead of like a subway tile, because I'm thinking, oh, there's one big tile to put up on the wall instead of 12 little ones. There was a lot more cuts for those bigger ones that required a much heavier blade, so the contractor actually went through a lot more blades, which was more expensive. And having to get those up vertically to stay required a lot more work and a lot more precision in terms of putting in these little adjusters and holders. Whereas the subway tile, they're so light and thin, you could just pop those up. You don't have to do so much tedious work in making sure they stick. So that assumption actually was a budget buster. So if you could save yourself something like that by just simply asking questions ahead of time, that would be your best bet. Understand the suppliers that they're going to be using. Potentially you have a preferred store in mind that you wanted to shop at that your contractor isn't affiliated with. Knowing that ahead of time can save you some headaches and actually help you narrow down your options in terms of who you're going to hire to be a contractor. If at all possible, prepare a new space to mimic the space you're losing. So for instance, if you have a dining room that isn't used very often, try to do a makeshift kitchen in there or whatever you can for the space you're losing so that you're not having to go through the construction zone throughout the project. Lastly, for demo day, make sure the area is cleared. John said he's run into the situation where he's walked in and the dishwasher's full, and so you're paying money for a contractor to be emptying your dishwasher and your cabinets and clearing off the countertops. That's crazy. So make sure the space is well prepared for the demo day. I think as homeowners, we watch HGTV and see the homeowners participate in these little one-off projects. It seems as though the homeowners can do something as simple as paint a room or tear down a small wall, which offsets the cost of some huge hole in the roof or having to put a big structural beam to create that open concept they were hoping for. In reality, homeowners can do certain things to offset the cost, but it's not going to outweigh some huge $10,000 expense. So I think we have to be realistic in terms of what our involvement really means for the project budget. We also have to understand that we've now agreed to outsource this project, which means the contractor's value is to coordinate the project and bring in their own set of materials and skilled labor. They have relationships with the suppliers of these materials and they have relationships with the subcontractors. So if there are any issues, they're able to more easily make corrections. Versus if we go out and purchase our own product or bring in a friend, it gets a little muddy as to who's responsible and who's going to coordinate the repair. So if you're deciding to outsource a project, outsource it and stay out of it. Most of our value in terms of making sure everything stays on time and budget is in the pre-planning of the project. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this topic of home renovations. If you want to see the full article, please see the show notes and don't forget to subscribe. Bye, guys.